So today's adventure is in the Ocala National Forest. We are in the Lake George district off of 19 and Highway 40. And this is the Yearling Trail. So we're pretty excited about this. There's supposed to be an old pioneer homestead, an old cemetery, a sinkhole, and maybe some wildlife and opportunity to get some good pictures of wildlife. So we shall see. So if you guys are familiar with the novel The Yearling, part of the trail that we're going to walk today is the actual land where the novel is set. The Yearling was published in 1938 and won the Pulitzer Prize in 1939. The subsequent film adaptation was nominated for 7 Academy Awards and winning 2 of them. Much of the film was shot on location here in the Ocala National Forest. Okay, so we're heading off on the trail. It's a pretty sunny day. We got a little bit of a late start this morning. Part of this trail is supposed to be in shade, but a portion of it is in full sun. Now the entire trail, I believe, from what I read, is about 5.5 miles. But there is a loop, if I read the map correctly, there is a loop that takes us to the homestead and the Old Pioneer Cemetery, and that loop, if I figure this correctly, is about 2.5 miles around. So we're gonna find out. Just a little information about the trail. The author, Marjorie Kinnan Rawlings, was fascinated by the beauty of the island and the colorful lifestyle of the inhabitants. She stayed with the last 2, Calvin and Mary Long, in October 1933. Marjorie recorded many stories told by the Longs, including the one Calvin told about an orphan deer he raised from a fawn. These stories gave her the idea for the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel, The Yearling. The novel was made into a movie starring Gregory Peck, Jane Wyman, and Claude Jarman Jr., and was filmed on location. Pat's Island is in the Juniper Prairie Wilderness, where natural processes are the primary influences and human activities are limited. Forest Service management preserves and protects wilderness without destroying or disturbing natural processes. The land is closed to motor vehicles, motorized equipment, and bicycles. Hikers must assume possible risks such as fallen trees, limbs, lack of vehicle access, animals encounter bad weather, etc. Pat's Island was named after its first postmaster, Patrick Smith, who settled there in the 1840s, and for the unique relationship between longleaf pine and sand pine scrub ecosystems. Pioneers who settled there called this place an island because a sea scrub surrounded it. Human habitation peaked on the island before the turn of the 20th century, when a dozen families sought to seek out living on the 1,400-acre island. Farming, hunting, fishing, moonshining, and trading with boat travelers on the St. Johns River were everyday activities. After the back-to-back freezes of 1894 and 1895, population on the island declined rapidly. Most of the settlers had sold or leased their homesteads before the Ocala National Forest was formed in 1908. By 1935, the island was abandoned after fewer than 100 years of modern occupation. All right, so we're here. Right. So we want to go... yeah,
the first right.
Yeah, and these all, and then that will hit all these major... the only thing that we would miss is the old dogwood tree and the homestead of Reuben and Sarah Long. You know, if we felt energetic and think we can do all of it, then we can always.
If you want, go to the homestead.
And then, yeah, that's going to be,
Then come back.
yeah, I think all the way around is 5.5 miles. Okay, so from what I read, the first mile of this trail is full sun. So we are pretty much in full sun with not a cloud in the sky. Cool, baby pine cones. I'm glad we picked this trail for a spring hike and not a summer hike, because so far, very little, if any, shade. The trail is somewhat sandy, which,
Not too bad.
not too bad, no. But it does require a little more exertion than a hard packed trail. If we go the path for Jody's Trace and see all the sights along Jody's Trace, then when we get to the end of that loop, we can decide if we want to go up to the long homestead or if it's too hot.
Well, that's why I'm saying we should go that way now.
Go that way now?
That's what I'm saying.
All right, so we'll head to the long homestead. There's 2 of them. I hear the woodpecker off in the distance. It's got to be one of those big woodpeckers, pileated woodpecker. Look, see him?
Yeah.
Those are tracks. Deer tracks. There's a few patches of shade so far on the trail. You know, at least it gets you in. You can stop and have some water out of the sun. So we should be coming up shortly to the Calvin Long homestead and Calvin Long's daughter's homestead. I think it was the daughter's homestead where the Yearling was filmed. Wait a minute, I gotta look at this map. No, it was the Calvin Long homestead was used in the filming of the Yearling. According to this map, we're going to come up to his daughter's homestead first. So the trail that we are walking is, I guess, is the old Grandville Road. So John and I were just saying, you know, back in the day, this must have been the road they used to pull their wagon or rode their horses or their carts, right? Post 10, and 10 is the site of the home site of Calvin Long's daughter, Cora, and her family. So I guess this is just a site where the house was. Yeah, other than a few bricks on the ground, I really don't see much unless I'm missing something. Yeah, this is pretty. A little more shade here too. Oh, here's 9. 9 and 8 together. So 9 is the homestead, which is, I guess, nothing left of the homestead. It's the site of the homestead. And 8 is the cemetery. So we have Arlong, born 1832, died 1915.
I guess you can go in there.
Oh, we can?
You want to take pictures of the headstones? Huh?
Yeah. Oh, you can go in. Okay.
Somebody's been out here working.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So what's the significance of the coins?
I have no idea.
That's something interesting.
They're all over.
Yeah, there's coins all over the gravestones. Sarah Jane Long, born 1837, died August 12, 1909. Yeah, I have no idea what the coins, the significance of the coins are. Do you have a coin in your pocket? Yep. This one has a key on it. Annie H., wife of C.C. Long, born December 13th, 1876, died January 10th, 1900. We'll have to ask our View from Florida Facebook group, our group members, if anybody knows what the significance of having a coin, and here's one with a key on the gravestone, what significance that has. Wow, this is really cool. And it's obviously kept up. Somebody puts the flowers. So the next marker that we're looking for, 7, is the home site of Reuben and Sarah Long. Oh, I'm surprised we have a signal out here. So we got our first answer back for the question that I put to our group members about the coins. Yeah. And one of our group members replied, it says, they have to do with those that served in the military. Those that knew the deceased leave a particular coin, penny, nickel, dime, etc., to signify their level of knowing the deceased. Very interesting. That answer, by the way, came from Wayne. And a big shout out to Wayne to say thank you. Yeah, the nice thing about being in the thick of it, shade. Okay, so if we continue that way, we are on the Florida Trail. And
Florida. Georgia. Yes.
And
the Florida National Scenic Trail.
Yeah, the Florida National Scenic Trail. So what is this way? That just says what, north-south? So I guess this is the end where the home site of Reuben and Sarah Long. I was thinking there was going to be ruins. I mean, unless there's something here we're not seeing. So that way is blazed orange, which is the Florida National Scenic Trail. From the parking trail at 19, we walked the Yearling Trail west all the way to where it meets up with the Florida Scenic Trail. Then we backtracked until we got to marker 8, and then we marker 8. I'm sorry, we backtracked east to marker 8. And then at marker 8, we followed marker 8 north, heading to the Sinkhole Trail. Oh, this must be the cattle dip. So they ran the cattle through here to get rid of ticks and parasites and whatever. They had that one tick that came from, I believe, Texas, that wiped out a lot of the cattle in the pioneer days. So if you're thinking about doing the Yearling Trail here in the Ocala National Forest, I would put it on your list to hike, before spring ends. Do it now. Because once that humidity is factored back in, along with the heat, this is not going to be a comfortable trail to hike in the summer months.